Okay, so we are live on YouTube. I'll quickly share the link with you.
Sure.
And whenever you are ready, Chaitanya, Geeta ma'am, Shalini ma'am, we are on air right now.
Okay.
Start a session now.
Okay. Can I start now?
Can we start?
Yes, we can start.
Okay.
I am just going to share my screen with you guys.
Yes, yes.
Right. Let's go.
Okay.
I hope you guys can see this.
Geeta ma'am?
Yes,
Yes,
we
yes,
can.
ma'am. Yes, just a minute.
In the YouTube link.
Okay, ma'am. Share YouTube link.
Ask Ajit. Chaitanya can also share.
Yeah, I have the YouTube link. Do you guys need it?
Oh,
Ma'am, you can ask the students if everybody is able to see the screen. Let them type yes in the chat box.
Not
yes.
see.
Yes, I think everybody is able to see the screen. With this, may I request Geeta madam to introduce our today's alumnus, and with
Yes.
this we can start with the session. So
Yes.
over to you, Geeta madam.
Yes, thank you, Ajit. Good evening, all my dear students, and also the students from other college. Today we are having with us my dear student Chaitanya. He is a front-end engineer. He has been working into the company Razorpay Software Private Limited presently. His skills are he has already worked on the technologies React Native, JavaScript, Android, and presently he's working on the mobile development using React Native, and he has developed a lot of projects in whichever companies he has worked up till now, such as student profile system, committee attendance track. So today he is with us. He has done basically BSc Computer Science and Masters in Computer Application from Thakur Institute of Management Studies. So today he will be giving you the knowledge about understanding Git, how it is useful and where it is useful, so that you also will be able to use it for your reference and for the knowledge. So over to you, Chaitanya. I welcome you on behalf of KC College Computer Science Department for accepting our invitation to take this live webinar for my dear students and sharing your knowledge with them. Thank you so much. And I personally thank my alumnus student Ajit for all the technical expert support. Because of him only, all our sessions are becoming live for the department. Thank you so much, Ajit. And thanks to Shalini ma'am and Beena ma'am and Naren sir for always being there for making our webinars successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Geeta ma'am.
Thank you so
Over
much
to
for
you.
that lovely introduction, ma'am.
Yes.
So, hi everyone. Like ma'am said, I am Chaitanya. I work at Razorpay as a front-end engineer, and I am obviously an ex-student of KC. So, ma'am asked me to present this topic Git, which has been on my mind for a couple of years now. Ever since I left college, the first thing that has always come to my mind is when will I get an opportunity to talk about Git with the other students, because this is something that is thrown at you at the very first day of your job. So I remember the first day I walked into my new job, my very first job, and I realized people just expect me to know Git. Everything else is something that I need to learn, but Git is something that I'm expected to know. And that was the first motivator for me to understand that I need to uh, explain Git to more people even before they get out of college. So this session is mainly for people who don't know anything about Git, who who have only heard the name Git or even not even heard the name Git. So this session is for them to get familiarized why we use Git in the industry and what are the benefits of using Git in the industry. So let's begin with a problem that we want to solve. So let's take a hypothetical situation that I am the CEO of Instagram. Yeah, I'm the CEO of Instagram now. And I have a few people working under me. I have 5 developers working under me. Yes, hypothetically, Instagram runs on 5 developers now. And I want to ensure that I can build a product like Instagram with these 5 developers, with these 5 coders who will work simultaneously and uh, very efficiently write the code for Instagram. So this is the problem that we are trying to solve. So to solve this problem, let's go back to the very basics, which is an HTML file. So I hope everybody is aware of HTML. This is an HTML file, which I've named index.html, which has a hello world in it. We've seen uh, uh, hello world files a lot of times in our coding education. So index.html is similarly just a hello world. And this is a folder on my computer, which I've named git_demo. Now what I want to do is move this file index.html into this folder. And when I do that, what I essentially get is a code repository. All I've done is moved an HTML file into a folder. And now I have a code repository. Also, this is a man. And this is a spider. Now what happens when I move the spider on the man? The spider will bite the man. But what we'll get is a Spiderman, which is the man with some superpowers. So imagine Git to be that spider, that radioactive magical spider, which we will now put on our folder that we've created, on our code repository, git_demo. And what we'll end up having is something called a Git repository. So all you have to do is move Git on a code repository on a folder. And now that folder becomes a Git repository, which is now a folder with superpowers. So let's try and see how we can make a folder into a Git repository and how we can give it those special powers. So I'm just going to do a quick demonstration. I want you guys to quickly say yes on the chat screen if you can see the Git demo and the index.html file. Perfect. So I'm going to open this index.html file with Visual Studio Code, which is just a code editor. You can use Notepad++, you can use Notepad, you can use anything you want. I prefer to use Visual Studio Code. Like I said, the index.html is just a hello world. And now I'm going to take this index.html and move it into my folder. That's it. I just have a folder with index.html. Okay, just hold on. It says my sharing is paused. Okay, can you guys see it again now? Yep. So I have a folder which is git_demo, within which I have my index.html. That's it. This is just a folder for now. Now I want to initialize Git into this. I want to give this folder some superpowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a terminal. On Windows, you have a command line terminal. On Linux, you have bash shell. Similarly, I'm using something called called Hyper, which is nothing but a terminal, just like any bash terminal you have. And now I'm going to move into this folder, git_demo, cd desktop, git_demo, because that's where it's located. Now, as you can see, I'm inside this folder. I'm going to split my screen in two parts so that you're easily able to see stuff. Right. So as of now, our folder only has index.html and nothing else in it. So now I'm going to use the magic command that we just saw, which is git init. And when I do git init, that's it. It has initialized an empty repository. And if you can see, there's a hidden folder inside my git demo folder, which just got created, which is called .git. We can safely ignore this folder now. We don't need to know what this is, but what this folder essentially is just some information regarding your folder. So now we have initialized git into our repository. And now our folder has some superpowers. All right, great. So now we have created a folder which has some superpowers. If you guys have any questions regarding what we just did, you can just quickly ask it to me on chat so I can address it. Have you guys asked any questions? No questions, great. Okay, but what are these superpowers? What am I going to do with having Git initialized into my repository? The first thing that we look at is something called a master. A master is a branch given to you by Git by default. Okay, we have someone who's raising their hand. I'm just going to give this a shot and let's see if we can take a question regarding Git init. Okay. What is basically a repository? So repository is just a folder. When you move any piece of code like an index.html into a folder, it becomes a code repository. I'll just show you the slide again. When I moved this index.html into my folder, I called it a code repository. It's a folder which has my code in it. And similarly, when I put git init on my folder, it became a Git repository. Is that a little clearer? Okay. So now we have a folder with some superpowers. But again, what are these powers? Which brings us to something called master. Master is a branch which is given to us by Git by default. You can have a master branch using which you can create more branches, using those which you can create even more branches. Now I have completely officially lost you guys. Now I don't know what these branches are for, what a master branch is, and what do I do with all of this. So let's try and focus only on one thing at a time. Let's try and focus only on master. Let's try and put our index.html, which is in our Git repository, into the master branch. All I want to do is move index.html into a master branch. But it's not as simple as dragging and dropping it, just the way we did with the folder, with the file and dropping it into a folder. This index.html has to go through a journey. The journey starts with a working directory. Then the index.html file gets promoted to the next level, which is a staging area. And then it gets promoted to another level, which is the current branch. This is the final level where we'll finally have our index.html in our master branch. And again, you don't have to take all of this in at the same time. We are going to break this down and understand each level one by one why it's necessary and how we can move the file on each level. So we have to start with the working directory. On working directory, what is essentially a working directory? So remember when we did git init and we moved our index.html file into our git_demo folder, that's it. Your computer, your laptop, whatever files you have in that git folder now is your working directory. So we have already completed the first step. Our index.html is already in our directory. Now we have to move it to staging area. Okay, so how do we move it to staging area? Since it's already in our working directory, we can use something called git add. So let's try and move our index.html to our staging area now. I'm going to show you my folder again. This is my terminal. This is the code repository, the Git repository, which I just created. And if I do ls here, which will list the files in Git demo, it has index.html. Now I want to move index.html into the staging area. I want to promote it to staging area. So what I'll do is git add index.html. So what it basically says is, hey Git, can you please add index.html into the staging area? Cool. It's done. Git has now added index.html to the staging area, but how do I know that Git has done that? So I can check the status of Git using Git status. It will just tell me there is a new file called index.html. Don't ignore all of this. You don't need to know all of this. As of now, we are on master and we have added index.html into our staging area. Great. Now that we've moved to the staging area, now we have to move index.html to our current branch, which is the master. But to even understand why we are going through these levels and what the final level is, what master is, and what it takes for a file to be promoted to master, I want to take a small break and show you guys a little bit of an advertisement, which is basically this. Yeah, I am not paid by OnePlus to do this advertisement, but the only reason I'm doing this is because my birthday is coming up next week, and I am hoping that one of you guys could really gift this to me. But yeah, don't worry, it's not difficult. I'll show you how to gift this to me. All you have to do is go through 3 stages. You have my OnePlus phone here, which you start with the working directory, which in this case is Amazon's website. Now I want to promote this phone into the staging area. So I have to do git add, which is add to the cart. Now that I've added it to the cart, I have to actually make the final step of buying it, which is making the payment. This is the final step which we have to take. This is the commitment which we have to make this payment. What I'm essentially saying is I commit to buying this phone. I'm just going to show this to you again. I go to the Amazon website, I add the phone to the cart, and then I make the payment. I go to my Git repository, I add it to the staging area, I move it to the final level, which is make a commitment. So how do we make that commitment? In Git, you use something called git commit. But it's not just git commit. What we can do is you can even write a message what this commit essentially is, what you are doing here. So in case of the OnePlus phone, I am committing to buying a new phone. So I can write git commit message, buy the phone. But let's be a little contextual here, since you guys are obviously not going to give that phone to me. This is going to be git commit message, create index.html file. So let's try and do that. Let's try and make that commitment with our file. Since I've already added index.html to the staging area, it's ready to be committed. I do git commit message index.html file. Amazing. I have just made the payment and now I have the OnePlus phone. Unfortunately, I just have this file, but okay. Up till here, anyone has any questions regarding these three steps of how we go from a working directory to making a commit? Trying to see if you guys have any questions. Perfect. You have a question, Meghna? You can just directly post your questions on the chat. And thank you, someone wished me, only person who wished me. Thank you so much. Are you doing this on CMD? This is kind of a CMD. This is a terminal. CMD, you have CMDs on Windows. On this is Mac OS. It has a terminal. On Linux, you can have a bash shell. This is also a bash shell. I'm sorry, I'm lying to you a little bit. This is another kind of a shell. It's a ZSH shell, but you can do exactly the same thing on Linux, on Windows, wherever you want to do it. Can Git command work on any terminal? Yes, Git command will work on any terminal. The only difference is you have to install Git first. I'll send you guys a link so that you can go ahead and install Git. And once you've installed Git, you can just use any of these commands. What is the actual purpose of Git init? Do we use it to manage files? So Git init is only to make my code repository a super Git repository so that it's powerful enough. We'll come to the purpose of Git itself when we see what Git can do. For us to understand what Git is used for, let's try and understand how Git is used, and then we can come to a conclusion where this can be used in an actual industry. So let's hold off that question. It's a very valid question. It's a great question. What is the actual purpose of Git? But let's hold that off till the end. And even at the end, if it's not clear enough, I would love to answer it again. So Git is used anywhere and everywhere, essentially. If you're a developer, it doesn't matter if you're a JavaScript developer, if you're a Java developer, if you are a Python developer, whatever development you do, you will be using Git. Why and where, we'll see that in a bit. So I'm just going to move ahead. Now that we have a commit, let's try and do something. I just made a commit. I showed you guys a nice command earlier, git status. Nothing to commit because I've already just made a commit. So I can just see that there is nothing more to commit now. I can show you guys another command here, which is git log. If I do git log, you can see I have one commit here, create index.html file. So git status, nothing to commit, git log. I have already made one commit, create index.html file. Okay, cool. We have added index.html to our current repository, to our current branch. That is the master. What is master? Why are branches? Hold that off. We'll get to it later. Let's try and understand just how we can commit on a master branch. So great. We have now completed the final step as well. So let's look back a little what all we've done so far. We have an index.html file, which is in the working directory. We use git add index.html and moved it to staging area. We did git commit message, create index.html file, and moved it to the current branch, that is the master. This is what we've done so far. We've learned three important commands here. Git init, so that my folder will get some superpowers. Git add, so that I can add my index.html to the staging area. Git commit, so that I can commit it to my master branch. Okay, it's a lot of Git at once. So I'm just going to take a small break from Git, but I'm not going to go too far from Git. I'm going to stay very close to Git. I'm going to be talking about GitHub. So what is GitHub? GitHub is, what's that word? It's a very complicated word. GitHub is a website. It's nothing but just a website. What will I do with this website? I can take my folder, which I just have created, Git demo, and I can put it on GitHub. And GitHub allows you to put all of your code, whatever you create, on their website, so that it's available for anybody to access, to go through, to read, to understand. So when I'll push this folder on GitHub, my code will become an open source software, which means anybody and everybody has access to it. So right now we will try and push this. And when I do that, all of you guys will be able to access this code. And it's not just us who does that, be it anybody and everybody, be it Facebook's code base, Instagram's code base, any test project you create at home, whatever you do, even your group projects, it can all go on GitHub so that everybody can access it. Now, a lot of companies like to keep it private. So when you push it to GitHub, it can go on GitHub, but it can still remain private. So if it's private, it can become a closed source software. If it's public, it is an open source software. And GitHub is not the only option available. There are a lot of other alternatives to GitHub like GitLab and Bitbucket. You can use whichever you want or whichever any company wants to use, but we can try and focus only on GitHub. But okay, right now I just spent a lot of time understanding the 3 stages of the journey of my file, which it has to go through. It has to go through a working area, a working directory, staging area, current branch, and where does GitHub fit into all of this? Where does it fit in this diagram of mine? So GitHub will come right above my repository, right above my current branch. So GitHub is something that's remote. It's not here, it's somewhere else. So we can call our folder on GitHub as a remote repository, which means the folder on my laptop will now become a local repository. So now that I have GitHub, I have local repository on my laptop and a remote repository on GitHub. And how do I push it to GitHub? So let's try and know one command to do it. I will show it to you guys how we can push this Git repository to GitHub. This is my folder, git_demo. I'm going to just open Chrome now. What is the right side of the screen? Right side of the screen, this is just a folder, git_demo. Okay. Chrome is opening. Wow, it's being slower than Internet Explorer now. Oh wow, great. It is here. It's alive. Okay, let's go to GitHub. Let's first try and open this in incognito so that you can see what the first home page is of GitHub. Right. So you can see a sign up screen here and a sign in screen here. You just have to give a username, your email ID, and set a password, and you are ready to use GitHub. So I have already signed up. I already have a GitHub account. So I'm just going to sign in using that. In fact, I have already signed in using GitHub. So I'm just going to go to my GitHub. So this is my GitHub homepage. There are a lot of things going on here. You can just ignore all of this. All you need to focus on in this part, which is the plus button here. So when I click on it, I have a few options here. New repository, import repository, new organization, new project. So I'm just going to go with new repository. Hey, I just want to create a new repository on GitHub. Let's give it a name. Git_demo, why not? So like I mentioned earlier, it can be public or private. If it's public, then it's an open source software. If it's private, then it's a closed source software. So because I'm going to make it public, all of you guys will be able to access it and try and play around with it. So I'm going to skip this part as well. I'm just going to go ahead and create a repository. That's it. We have a working repository now. Now GitHub will by default give you some instructions on how you can set up this repository and connect it to the folder that you've created. So for us, it's this part. Push an existing repository from the command line. So we have created a repository. We just want to push it to GitHub. So I'm going to do what I know best, copy paste. First command, git remote add. Let's do that. Great. Second command. Okay. I have followed the exact instructions that GitHub gave to me. And now I'm going to see and refresh this page and see what happens. There you go. My code is right here. The index.html that we created. Hello world. It says master, which is something branch. We still don't know what it exactly is. You can see there's one commit, which is create index.html file. And now our code is on GitHub. And I'm just going to paste this link on the chat so that everyone can just quickly go and visit it. Don't play around with it right now. Don't mess with my demo, please. But you can just go and see it. And whatever we do with this GitHub repository, even now, all of you can look at it live and see what's happening with this repository. Okay, so I have a couple of questions here. What if I use Flask or Django, then how to upload the file? Whatever you use, whatever language you write your code in, you can use GitHub for that and follow the exact same steps that I've just mentioned. You have to create a Git repository, and then you have to create a repository on GitHub and just connect the two. Even if you haven't entirely understood GitHub yet, we still have a few more things we can look at before completely understanding what GitHub exactly does. So this is my laptop, which is my local repository, and this is GitHub, which is my remote repository. So when I have local and remote, on my laptop, I'm calling it master, the master branch. But on GitHub, I won't call it master. I'll call it something a little something else. I'll call it origin/master. So on my local, the branch is master. On GitHub, it's origin/master. It's just an identifier to differentiate between the two. So right now we had one commit on master, which you could see exactly on GitHub as well. The create index.html file is on master and origin/master. It's on my laptop and it's on GitHub as well. Now what happens when I make another commit, when I change something in the file or add a new file? That commit will be created on master, on my local repository, on my laptop, but it still won't be there on GitHub. So how do I take this from my laptop and push it to GitHub so that both of them are in sync? I use git push. So let's try and add another commit to GitHub. I have my file here. I am going to open this with VS Code. Okay, can you guys see this? Hello world. I'm going to make a small change here. I'm going to add an emoji. Great. Now I have an emoji with hello world. Now again, when I do git status, you can see this in red, which means something has changed in my file. And now I can again take this file through the journey of working directory, staging area, and current branch. So I can again do git add index.html. Let's try and do git status again. Now it has turned green, which means I have moved my index.html from my working directory to the staging area. Now, what's the next step when we have reached the staging area? Can someone give me a command quickly on the chat that I can copy paste? Commit. Great. Perfect. Git commit. And with a message. What should the message be? Add an emoji. Great. Now I have committed it. And if I do git status again, your branch is ahead of origin/master by one commit, which means my local branch, the one I have on my laptop, is one commit ahead of origin/master, which is on GitHub. So now I need to push this commit, which I have just created, onto GitHub. So let's open GitHub here. Let's see the commits. There's one commit here. And if I see git log, there are two commits here: create index.html file and add an emoji. But this is not yet reflected here. To do that, I'll be doing git push. Okay, now I'm going to try and refresh this and see if I can see anything. Great. Now I have another commit on GitHub, which is add an emoji. So when I go here to my code and look at index.html, it will have this emoji. It has now changed from just being hello world to a hello world with an emoji. And if we try to browse these commits, I can even open this up. I can see what create index.html did. It just created this whole file with a hello world. I can go back. I can go to add an emoji, and it will show me what has happened here. It has changed hello world and added an emoji here. So you can actually open this up and browse through these commits as well. So we have now successfully pushed another commit to GitHub. Now let's look at this complex diagram that we saw earlier, which we are still not very clear on what it was. Master is a branch which has more branches coming out of it. So let's try and understand what that is. So at the very beginning, we have a master with an index.html file, and it has a simple hello world written on it. So you have your master, which has a commit that adds hello world. Let's try and focus on this hello world right here. First commit made it hello world. Then we added a second commit, which made it hello world with an emoji. Now, what I'm doing is I'm cloning this branch. I'm copying these and pasting it into just another place. And I'm calling it branch one. I'm creating a copy of master, which is branch one. It will have the exact two commits, hello world and then hello world with an emoji. It's a replica of master. But now what I will do on this branch is something a little different. I will add a third commit to it. I will change my emoji to another emoji. A, B, and C. Now I have 3 commits on branch 1, but only 2 commits on master. Now I'm going to open up VS Code again. So if I see this on branch 1, if I do git log, it still has these 2 commits, create index.html file and add an emoji. Now on branch 1, I'm going to change this emoji. Now again, I'm going to do git add index.html and now git commit message, change the emoji, another emoji. This commit can be anything that you want. Great. Now, if I do git log, I have 3 commits on my branch 1. Create index.html file, add an emoji, and change that emoji. Now, before we go a little further, let's get back to the presentation for a bit. We have created this new branch. So the way we had master on GitHub, we had origin/master. But what about the branch that we just created, branch one? What will that reflect to on GitHub? Do we have any guesses? If you have master and origin/master, what will branch be? Yeah, it'll be origin/branch one. And to do that, I have to use this command. So this command is a little longer than what we've seen up till now. So let's try and break it down and understand what this command actually says. It's basically saying, hey Git, can you just create a branch on remote, which is the origin, and just call it branch one. And while you're at it, just make sure you link this branch one on my laptop to the branch one on your GitHub, just so that next time when I do a push, I don't have to remind you again that, hey, this branch one is the branch one on GitHub. So when I run that command, I will have branch one and origin/branch one with these exact 3 commits. So let's try and run that command. If you see on GitHub right now, I only have one branch called the master. Now I'm gonna type git set upstream origin/branch _1. Great. If I refresh it, I have master and branch one. So I'm going to do git log here. You can see there are 3 commits here. On master, there are still only 2 commits. Create index.html file and add an emoji. But if I switch the branch here, there are 3 commits. Only 2 commits on master and 3 commits on branch one. So right, we have seen this command and we have now created 2 branches. One is master and one is branch one. But so what happens when I add another commit to branch one? I can just change it on my local and similarly just push it to GitHub. So let's try and do something. Let's try and make this change. Let's try and add another commit on branch one. Let's go here. I don't want this emoji now. I am classier. I just want an exclamation mark. Great. Now I have an exclamation mark. Okay. Can someone quickly tell me on the chat what all things that I need to do? I've made a change to this file. Now I need to push it to GitHub. Okay. Where is Zoom? Yeah. I can see commit. I can see push. Great. Someone said git add. Precisely. That's the first step. You have to still follow the entire journey. You still have to do git add not fit, git add index.html, then make a commit message, use classy exclamation. Now, once I've committed it, git push. Since I've already told GitHub, since I've already told Git that this branch one is origin/branch one on GitHub, I can only do git push this time and it will accept it. So if I go here on this branch, I have a use classy exclamation mark commit here. Great, Chaitanya. You have made us go through so many stages of adding one file to a branch, then creating another branch and changing that file again and making another commit. I've made like 4 commits till now, but what is the point of all of this? what do I gain out of all of this? What's so great about Git? So let's see what powers we get with these branches and what we can do. So I'm going to show off a little bit now. Here is my VS code. We have this classy exclamation mark here, and I am on branch 1. Now, to show off, we are going to use a command called git checkout. The git checkout that we saw earlier, but just without the -v. -v is just an indication that I want to create a new branch. Git checkout without the -v is just an indication that I want to check out to this branch. I want to move to this branch. So when I say git, not fit, git checkout. So I'm on branch 1 right now. I want to go to master. Now don't focus on this side. Try and look at this side. Try and look at hello world. Let's see what happens when I do git checkout master. You see, this emoji is back here again. The very first emoji that we used, because on master, we still have these 2 commits, create index.html file and add an emoji. But on my branch 1, there are a lot more commits. There are 2 extra commits. So I can keep doing this. I can keep doing git checkout master, git checkout branch 1, and it will keep switching it. So that is the first power you get with branches. The moment you check out, it will go back to the state it was on another branch. So what is happening when we do this git checkout is that Git, let's try and imagine Git as a person who has a floating head and it's looking at master. Right now the Git has a head which is looking at master. When I do git checkout branch 1, it's gonna move and look at branch 1. When I move back here, git checkout master is again going to look at the master branch. So using this checkout, you can just tell Git to look at one branch or the other. And in actual technical terms, you have something called a head. This head will move from master to branch when you check out. You can navigate between these branches as much as you want. You can go from master to branch and branch 1 to master. So now we have a master and a branch 1. Our master has 2 commits, but our branch 1 has 2 extra commits, total of 4 commits. Now what I want to do is merge this branch 1 and master together. I want to move all the changes and all the new commits to master. I don't like this emoji at all. I need it to become an exclamation mark. I need these 2 commits, C and D, to come into master. So to do that, what I'll have to do is, so when I do that, when I merge branch 1 into master, both the branches will look exactly the same. And to do that, I have to look at master first. Right now, I'm looking at branch 1. Git is looking at branch 1. Git's head is on branch 1. I have to move Git's head to master. And how do I move Git's head from branch 1 to master? I just do a git checkout. I navigate from branch 1 to master. What we've been doing here. Right now, I'm at branch 1. I will be now checking out to master. Cool. Git's head is now at master. Now I want to tell Git to merge the branch 1 into master. Once the head is on master, I want to merge branch 1 into master. And to do that, we're going to use git merge. We have a branch here. I'm just going to do git merge. So I'm on master and I want to merge branch 1 into master. As you can see, this is still the emoji there. And before we even run that command, let's do git log again. I only have 2 commits here. Now git merge _1, keep an eye on this emoji. Let's see what happens to this emoji when I merge branch 1. Great. This emoji is now gone, and now I only have an exclamation mark. But this is still on my local, right? This is still not on GitHub. Let's look at GitHub. What's happening here at GitHub? I did a merge on my laptop, but what about GitHub? Master still only has 2 commits. So can anyone tell me what I have to do to reflect these changes on GitHub? Perfect. Push. Git. Push. That's it. On my master, now I have 2 more commits. And now my index.html on master is hello world with an exclamation mark. Great. So we've done that too. We have created different branches. We merged one branch into another, but I'm still not very clear on what is the advantage of doing this and what is the real life implication of these branches and these merges. So let's go back to our original problem statement that I'm the CEO of Instagram. So now again, I'm the CEO of Instagram. I'm working on Project Instagram, and I have a lot of developers, 5 developers working for me. So I can ask each of those developers to work on different features. My first developer can work on direct messages for Instagram. So what they will do is they can create a branch from master from my project Instagram and call that branch direct messages. While another developer can create another branch and call it profile settings. While another developer can work on stories. Maybe someone else will be working to fix the position of the logo of Instagram. And maybe someone can work on the performance of Instagram. And because of Git, because of these branches, what it allows all of them to do is work in parallel without having to block each other. So each of these developers can work at the same time on different features, which are just branches out of master. And then when they're done with their work, they can just use git merge and merge all of their work into the master. So this is the biggest use case of why we use Git in our day-to-day lives as a developer. So when they merge all of their branches into master, their commits will look something like this. Someone created a direct messages feature, then someone created a profile settings feature, and then someone fixed the logo, then someone added the stories feature. So these are the chaotic Git messages that we write. In most companies, people try and follow a pattern of writing these Git messages, commit messages, which can look something like this: feature direct messages, feature stories, fix logo position, feature profile settings. So with Git, what it allows you to do is not just merge all of these branches into the master, which will always remain a source of truth for us. All our code will reside in master. All the branches from it will be people working on different parts of it. But our code will always remain on master, which will be a source of truth, which will be deployed to our users. So with this, what we can do is, because of Git, I realized that this logo position was not actually fixed. Instead of fixing the logo position, my developer actually broke it. So I can just revert that commit. I can remove it as if it never happened. And now I only have 3 features and there was no fix that had broken my master. Or I can do something else. I can swap these commits. First, I want it to look like first direct messages was created, then profile settings were created, then everything else happened. I can remove a commit, I can swap them. I can even combine 2 commits and make them into 1 commit. So all of this is done with Git, and these are a little advanced topics, which I won't be covering, but now what? Now that you've learned all of this, what else is there to learn? Git is a very, very wide topic. All of these things that I covered in the last 3 slides of merging two commits into one, removing one commit. All of those are different features of Git that I want you guys to explore by yourself and try and experiment with it as much as you can. And right after this, I would want you guys to create an account on GitHub and do exactly the things that I have done right now. Create a repository, initialize it with Git in it, add files into it, push it on GitHub, try and create different branches from it, merge those branches into the master and see how commits work. And I will also be giving you a guide, which is the documentation of Git. You can go there and look at a lot more commands to understand what all things you can do with Git. And if you ever get stuck with any problem regarding to Git or regarding to coding in general, all you have to do is a Google search and you'll get a Stack Overflow answer for it. That's essentially how I learned how Git works. I got stuck at a problem. I Googled it. I went on Stack Overflow. I saw a command which told me what to do. But uh, when you move from the just copy pasting habit and try to understand what each command does, you will get to understand Git a little better. So I hope you guys go on GitHub and explore not only pushing your code to GitHub, but you can also see people's code. You can see a lot of open source projects, a lot of repositories where you can see some amazing coding practices, and you can even start creating branches on someone else's code and asking people to merge those branches into their master. And this is what we call open source development. So right now we are at the end of this presentation, but I'm still around. I want you guys to ask me doubts regarding Git. If you have any questions to what we've done so far, if you want to understand Git a little bit more, if you have any specific questions, or even if you want to ask questions that are not related to Git, I'll just start answering those questions now. So if you guys are here, and I'm going to, did I paste this link already? I can't see the chat. Okay. So, hi Geeta ma'am, is it okay if I let people raise their hands and they can
Yes,
ask me questions
yes,
directly instead of
yes,
just
yes,
writing it
yes,
on chat?
yes.
So
Can you
if
hear
anyone
me?
has any questions, yeah, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyone has any questions? We have a lot of time now.
Yes, there is one question, Chaitanya, in chat box.
Yeah. Can't we directly commit or push without add since we already added it first? Great question. So let's try and see. Can you guys still see my screen? Yeah. So let's try and see it practically. Why do we need git add? I have index.html. I am going to copy paste it and create another index.html. Now I have two files in my Git repository, index.html and another index.html. I will make changes and change this exclamation mark to a double exclamation mark. And now I want to commit this. I want to push this to Git, but I don't want to push this to Git. I only want to push this. This is just something that I created that I want to delete. So by the, if we didn't have git add, it would mean that it will by default push every change that I've made on my laptop. But that's not the case. I only want to push this one change. So because of git add, I can pick and select what all I want to add to GitHub. Does that answer your question? Okay, great. When we applied checkout command changed directly to exclamation mark and not to previous emoji. So is it because that was the recent change we made? Yes, the most recent commit, you'll be able to see the most recent change, the most recent commit. You can obviously create a private Git repository on GitHub, and you can only share it with people that you want. There's settings on GitHub that you can check out. You can select who gets to make commits into it, who gets to see it. There's a lot of settings there in GitHub itself, which you can toggle. What software should we install if you want to try Git on Windows? Even on Windows, there is. So this is the official website of Git. You can just go here and there are all installation instructions. It's just downloading and installing it.
Your screen is not visible.
Yeah, I just sent it on the chat box. I'll share my screen again.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the official website of GitHub, of Git, not GitHub. So you can go here and you can see everything that you need to download: Mac OS, Windows, Linux. Are there any questions? Yeah, you can ask another developer to merge one of your branches into your repository. It's very similar to tagging people. You can tag other developers on GitHub who are already on GitHub. So if you want to tag me on GitHub, you can even go ahead and tag me on GitHub and I will get a notification that you've tagged me somewhere and you want me to do something.
So is it possible to show that demo?
Okay. I am not sure how I can tag someone, but what I can show you though is how you can merge branches on GitHub without Git, without doing it from your local repository. Let's try and quickly do that. I'm going to create another branch here, git checkout -b branch _2. Now on this branch, I am going to make a change. Hello world again. And I'm going to do git add index.html, git push. Let's see what happens if I do git commit message on my message on my hello world. Let's try and do git push directly. Nope, it's not going to let me do that. It will tell me that GitHub still doesn't know what this branch is on GitHub, and it has just given me the command that I need to run, which we have already seen. So I'm just going to copy it. Now this branch 2 is on GitHub as well. Perfect. So let's go to GitHub. I have the branch _2 here. So GitHub has something called pull request. So I have created this branch and now I want to merge it into master. So I can just go here, create a new pull request, branch 2. I want to merge branch 2 into master. So it will show me these are the changes that I've made and I can just create a pull request. So creating a pull request is not merging the code into master. It's just me requesting the owner of the repository to add my branch into the master branch. So when you visit here, when you see the pull request, you can see something called expand my hello world. And you can see commits. This is the one commit I have added to this pull request. And it's going to make this change to the file, to the master branch. So as the owner of the repository, I can just go ahead and merge this pull request. Confirm merge. Now it's merged. If I see here in the code, you can see there are more commits. You can see this commit here, expand my hello world. And this is something called a merge commit. because I merged it from GitHub, it's just added this one merge commit. So if I see the code here, it's now hello world again. So most of the times when you're exploring GitHub, when you're exploring different people's repositories, you can create a branch from their repository and you can just keep adding pull requests. And it's okay if you create as many pull requests as you want. Let the owner of the repository or the creator of the repository take the headache of merging it or closing it. But I'll say, encourage you guys to just go ahead and create as many pull requests as you can and just be more involved in the open source community.
There are still questions in the chat box.
Yes. What is GitHub Desktop? Can we use it to do the same? Great. I'm glad someone asked it. GitHub Desktop is just a graphical user interface which is built on top of these commands. So it's not just GitHub Desktop. It's most of the code editors that you will use will have a GitHub GUI built into it. So I hope you guys won't yell at me when I show you this. So let's open VS Code itself. Where is VS Code? Oh yeah, it's right here. VS Code. Okay. So in VS Code itself, I have index.html and there's this tab called Git tab, source control. If I go here and make some changes, let me go back to, okay, let's create another branch, shall we? Git branch 3. And if I make some changes here, I've saved it. You can see right here in the source control, it's showing something has changed. Index.html has changed now. Now we can make this file go through the same journey of working directory, staging area, commit, but it will be a little bit much simpler here. So this is the first step. It's on working directory. I click on this add button. Now it's in the staging area. Now I can commit it. Add code. I can take this off. Now it's committed. And now I'm going to push it. Publish the branch to GitHub as well. Okay. That's it. That's all you have to do if you have VS Code or GitHub Desktop. It's as simple as clicking a few buttons to do everything that we have discussed today. And when you when it's your first day at the job, people will most likely just show you this and ask you to do exactly just that. And when you run into problems with Git, you won't have any idea how to actually go to the command line terminal and fix the problems you've created with Git. So no one will actually conceptually tell you what Git is. They will only tell you how to just add it using VS Code or GitHub Desktop and push it to GitHub. So VS Code and GitHub Desktop is just a graphical user interface on top of GitHub, on top of Git.
Two more questions.
Yeah. So in React Native Expo, as I use Snack Expo, there is something called as Git import, but when I paste URL, it fails. Why? So is any permission? Okay, I'm not sure, Parth, why you're getting that problem, but I'm really glad you're exploring React Native and Expo. We can definitely take this offline. You can reach to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is, I'll just share my Twitter handle. You can just message me on Twitter. And I would love to help you guys with anything with Git or React Native. There you go. And we can work with Heroku and Git together. Yes, you can. Git works with anything essentially. Oh, I think I sent that URL to Geeta ma'am only.
Chaitanya, there is one question from Malika also.
I can't see that.
Above Parth, what if
What
we
if you
want
want
to
to
view
view
a
a
particular
particular
commit like
commit like emoji before exclamation? Right. So now the question is where you want to view this. Do you want to view it in GitHub or do you want to view it on your laptop on Git? So let's try and do both. Let's try and view it on GitHub. I have 6 commits here. If you want to look at the add an emoji commit, I can just go here and click on it and I can see it here. This was the commit that was added. But now if you want to look at this commit on your laptop, if you want to check out into this commit on your laptop, then you have to do git checkout again. Let's go to master first. So now I'm on master and I'm going to try and check out into this commit, add an emoji. But how am I going to do that? Every commit has this weird string attached to it. So this commit is this hash of commit. So there's a copy button here. I can just copy it. Now I will have to do git checkout and add that commit hash. This is called a commit hash. So let's see our VS Code. We are at an exclamation mark. When I do git checkout this commit hash and press enter, we are now again back to our emoji. And it's showing me that I am on this commit hash. I'm not on master anymore. I'm not on branch 1 anymore. I am looking at this particular commit. So you can browse and go anywhere you want throughout Git using Git checkout. Let's go back to master. Back at master. Can we store binary files? Yes, Aniket, you can store binary files. You can store anything that you want on GitHub. Can be
Malika?
videos.
Malika, is your doubt solved?
Yeah, she understood, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Aniket. Yeah.
Aniket, yeah, we can store any binary files on GitHub. You can store audio files, video files, images, anything. Any more questions?
Students, it means you know that everybody should have their account on GitHub and as well as repository so that you can develop some project commonly works among each other. This is a good platform. Git is a good platform to use it and work with GitHub.
So
Right,
I'll suggest you
Chaitanya?
guys to use Git and GitHub when you're making your group projects. Try and not share your code with pen drives. Try and use Git and GitHub so that it's available to you, your teachers, your classmates, all of everybody.
One more question.
Git stash push and pop. Git stash and Git stash pop is another command of Git which allows you to temporarily move your changes from one place to a temporary file, and so that you can do something else at that time. You can read up more on it on their documentation, but if I try to cover that now, I think I'll just end up confusing everyone. But we can definitely take it offline and discuss it. Okay, can an attacker perform arbitrary code execution on a target computer with Git installed? Can he modify? No, Git is just a tool. It just gives your folder some superpowers. Uh, Someone else can't get access to your Git on your laptop and make code executions. But if they get access to your laptop through some other means, then not just Git, they can do anything they want, but it won't ever be because of Git. But if someone hacks your laptop, yeah, they can use Git, they can use anything they want. All of these commands you can find on Git's official documentation. In fact, you'll find it in a lot of technical detail there, of what each command is and what each of these commands do and what more power these commands have. So if you read through that, you'll get a little more understanding of what these commands are. You can go to the website that I showed you, Git's website. It will show you all of those commands. I have tried to simplify those commands for all of us so that it becomes easier to get started with those commands.
Chaitanya, is it possible from your side to make a Word document of all the steps, and if we can share it with the students, so it will be easy for them to try it?
I can summarize this whole presentation into a Word document.
Okay, fine. Students, don't worry, we'll be sharing with you. Okay. Any more questions?
Okay, do you people have any other doubts that are not related to Git? If you want to know anything regarding it could be about your career, it could be about education, about React Native, about open source software. I'm here if you want to have a quick chat. And you
Yes,
can always,
Chaitanya, definitely we'll be having one more session with you on the topic React Native for which all the students are looking forward. I think everybody enjoyed today's session. If students, can you type in the chat box what did you people felt about the session, and please do not forget to fill the feedback form link which is shared by Ajit sir and myself. It is mandatory to fill the feedback form, otherwise certificates won't be given.
Oh, you people are getting certificates, ma'am. When will I get my certificate?
Surely we'll give you the certificate. I need to take you through Bagla ma'am also, na? Right?
Oh yeah.
Any more questions, students?
Oh, we have a wonderful question. Someone sent it to me privately.
Okay.
How GitHub can be helpful during an interview. So try and do this because Git and GitHub is something that is not taught to us at a college level or through university syllabus. Whenever you go to an interview, try and tell the interviewer that you already know Git and you've already worked on GitHub, and see the kind of reaction you get from the interviewer, because I can bet on it that nobody is expecting any of the college students to already know Git, because this is something that is never taught in college. And to actually be able to go on the first day of your job and contribute something productively is a very big deal. And you can very well go ahead and add it to your CV as well, that you worked on Git.
Okay, Chaitanya, there is one more question from Aniket in the chat box. Can you see?
Yeah. Not yet.
Is it possible to check out through subtrees or multiple branches?
Yeah, you can create as many branches as you want, and you can check out between those branches. Remember the example I showed you of Project Instagram, where there was a direct messages branch, there was a profile settings branch, there was a fixed logo branch. So you can navigate through all of these branches.
Okay. It will be good, Chaitanya, if you can prepare some kind of question on this so that I'll float it with the students. Then it will be like good for them to try on their own. And then in that case, everybody will be having a GitHub account along with the repository, because it is mandatory for all CS and IT students to have it, as you are telling, right?
Right, yeah. Actually, if you make it mandatory from your side, that everyone should create their group projects or whatever projects that they're creating through Git and GitHub, I think they'll be exposed to a lot more of Git and GitHub, and there'll be some very valuable experience.
You know, actually, they have one of the paper in first year FOSS. In that one of the practical, they do have GitHub. So I always wanted that my students who are working in a company, they should only take, so that they will be able to understand in a much easier way than rather than we explain them, because actually you people are using in day-to-day life, right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Chaitanya, for this session. I think all students got info, and it is very, like, it will be useful for them, and I'm hoping that all my students will be having their personal GitHub account and creating repositories. And whenever we assign group project to them, they will be using this platform only rather than using and sharing pen drives and complaining, no ma'am, my code is with another, I forgot my pen drive. No, these common things always do come across whenever
Yeah, we've
especially
used
there is
that
a
excuse a
submission
lot.
time. Yes, Chaitanya, I know that and I remember that. But when you people go outside world, walk, then you people get maturity and understand and realize the importance of the teacher, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, there is one comment in the chat box from MSCIT Part 1 student. Thank you so much, Kimbril Monis. I hope this session is useful for all the students. So should we wind up? Any more questions, students?
I think I see one question by Pooja.
Hmm.
As Git is version control, suppose a new build is not stable, then we go back to a previous stable version. How to do this with Git, right? So when we saw a list of commits, A, B, C, D. Now, if commit D, my last commit, is causing some problem, and now my code has become corrupt. It is failing in production. It is breaking something. So I can just remove that commit entirely and go back to only having commits A, B, C. You can do that using a command called git revert. You can read up on what git revert is and how you can use it on GitHub's documentation. So whatever you can imagine, Git will allow you to do that. So the only time you will have to explore a new command is when you mess something up and you realize, shit, I've made this mistake and I need to fix this before my boss gets to understand what I've done. So that's when you just Google it and you come across a new Git command.
So, hi Chaitanya, it's Ajit here. If any more further questions are there from the participants, I think this would be the final call for all of you. Any questions here? Otherwise, I think it's time have come that we relieve Mr. Chaitanya here. A wonderful session, Chaitanya. I remember my first days of using Git. Because as a I'll tell you what you have been given very important project. I passed out from a very reputed college, VGTI, so they somehow they expected me to be smart and they gave me a very huge project, and then they gave me an access for the Git account and that said, you have coded, okay, now push the code. I am like, push the code. So, you certainly brought those memories back when I started using Git. And what a wonderful explanation. I think you are going to become a very great trainer, technical trainer in your future. And surely,
Thank you so much, Ajit.
Yes.
we'll definitely connect back. So I think this is the last call for everybody. Otherwise, we are going to end this today's session. I would like to conclude this session with Geeta Madam's and Shalini
Yes.
Madam's permission.
Yes.
Madam,
Yes.
can
Yes.
I? Okay,
Yes,
okay.
dear. This is, Ajit, one thing I wanted to share,
Haji,
as you are connected with us and I'm calling other alumni students. So we are making connection with all your batches since I have joined up till now. So I found like in COVID period through webinar series, we all are connected. Irrespective of thinking this is the batch, this is the student. Now we all are CS students and teachers connected through this platform. So thank you so much to Ajit, you also, for making our all sessions lively and madam, I can't say in few words. Thank you so much, Ajit.
Yeah.
thank
Thank you so much,
much.
Ajit. It was such a smooth experience with Zoom and
Yes.
YouTube Live. It was just brilliant. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Yes.
much.
thank you so much, Chaitanya. Thank you so much, Shalini ma'am, Geeta ma'am. Shalini ma'am, any words from you, or
Yes, Shalini ma'am, you should also say something.
should I conclude today's session?
I can't hear her.
Okay,
Just don't ask me to submit my journal, ma'am. That's
Huh?
not complete.
You have to, Chaitanya, no excuses.
See,
Even
one practical is remaining in the journal today's session.
Wonderful, wonderful.
so
Yes.
I just want to thank our StarDBT coordinator Geeta ma'am to arrange such a wonderful resource person. Thanks to our Shalini Sinha ma'am, our principal Bagla ma'am, to give us opportunity to conduct such live sessions. And thank you, our technical expert Ajit. Thank you so much. Thank you all the participants. You all are really wonderful audience. Thank you everyone.
All right, to everyone. Yes, Geeta ma'am.
I hope all the students got the feedback form link. It is already shared in the chat box. Some students are asking.
जी हाँ, to all the participants here, there is a feedback form shared right now by Geeta madam. Please fill that form. Also, I'm sending you a link to the feedback form where you can show your interest. And also, I'm posted the YouTube live video where Mr. Chaitanya was live. You know, in case you have missed out something, you want to revisit something without disturbing Mr. Chaitanya, you can go to the YouTube live channel and you can subscribe it and you can watch this video again and again. Today's session was also posted on Facebook. So may I request all the participants to show your support here on the Facebook post and make this viral so that it could be an encouragement for other students also, who are thinking, I should just chill and sleep at home in this corona. No, I think this should be an opportunity for all of us to come forward and learn and share knowledge. This is exactly what we are trying to do here in association with KC College. So thank you so much, guys.
I want to thank all the students from computer science and IT, especially MSc students also, who have taken interest and taken time to attend all the webinar series organized by CS and IT department. Thank you all the students. I hope everyone is having the feedback form link shared by Ajit sir and me. Got everyone?
Ji haan, madam. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So, all right, Chaitanya, thank you so much. We'll stay in touch. Thank you so much, Geeta madam. Thank you so much, Shalini madam. Thank you, all my dear participants here. We have successfully conducted another great seminar, webinar for KC CS Department Lecture 2. And we are looking forward with a lot of excitement to our third lecture series. Stay updated. Be connected on WhatsApp. Be connected with your department. Be connected with us on YouTube, Facebook, every social media possible. A third lecture is going to come very soon, Chaitanya. We will definitely meet you soon, maybe on another technology. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thanks to all other college students also. There will be third lecture series tomorrow. We'll be sharing the flyer. It will be on the topic computer networks beyond from the time 4 p.m. to 5:30. All right.
Wow, so there is already tomorrow's agenda set, and we'll see you again. For the other college students also, thank you so much for joining us. I hope the session was interesting. With this, with the permission of today's guest speaker, Mr. Chaitanya, our beloved Professor Geeta madam and Shalini madam, and the entire KC College fraternity, आज का ये session हम यहीं पे close करते हैं. Thank you so much, my dear friends. See you soon. Jai Hind.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.